If you have friends and colleagues who you think will benefit from our topic this afternoon, you may still give them the Zoom registration thing because we still have room. We have a lot of room this afternoon. Or if they can't join us on Zoom, we will be on YouTube. We are streaming on YouTube. So please do watch us over there. Pero mas maganda if kasama kayo sa conversation this afternoon. So I can see Sheila, Kimberly, and Joshua saying good afternoon in the chat box. We also have Denise. Sheila is calling from CDO. Good afternoon to you too, Ronald and Elmar. Maria is from Zamboanga City. Joshua is from Maginhawa. Malapit ka lang sa akin, Joshua. I'm also calling in from QC. Aldrin is also here. Lizelle is calling from Bacolod. Maybe you can also share with us from what organization you are in. Ano ba yung mga pangalan ng workplaces nyo? Si Gemma rin is calling from QC. Hyacinth is from Cebu. We also have Christopher joining us from Christopher's from Makati. Sheila is from Pima COC. We also have people from the Academe joining us. Hello, Aldrin. Kamusta dyan sa Laguna? Lizelle is from Bacolod City. DSWD. Hello, hello. Reliance United. Oh, can you share with us what type of company is Reliance United? Si Gemma pala yung pinakamalapit sa akin. Dito lang siya sa Lung Center. Ayan. So, Gino Cliff. Gino? I hope that I got your name right. It's from Negros Occidental. Cluster 1, Bago City of the SWD. So we have a lot of government agencies joining us this afternoon as well. Our Andreas from RITM. Mother company nila si Unilab. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that, Hyacinth. Si Elmar naman is HR admin from Healthmate Services in Cebu. Hello! We also have Darwin from Expression Stationery Shop. Oh my God! Si Joyce ba andito pa? Hilig po akong pumunta sa mga stationery shop. Welcome! And I think positive workplaces in general, mga stationery fans kami. Like bookshops, post-its. We always use that for our webinars. We also have Brian joining us. He's from Cavite and AVB Motor Hub Pilipinas Inc. Thank you so much. Can you let me know if this is how pang ilang beses nyo nang umattend ng PW free webinar? Siguro for the first timers, you can do one. Kung marami na, pwede nyo sabihin marami. Kaya si tatlo, sina Sheila, pati si Gino pang 6 na, si Mary Grace, I think I recognize your name, marami na. Si Denise 6, si Maria Crispina naka-4 na. Yan. So we have a lot of first-timers, parang mga bago pa lang kayo in the Positive Workplaces pre-webinars. Si Andrea present since October. Si Ellen June, I think I also see your name a lot. Marami na din siya. Si Lizelle pang 6 na. Ayan. So I'm not sure if this is the first time you're hearing about the flow state, but I'm sure that you will learn a lot from our resource speaker this afternoon. So it's a little bit past 3 p.m. So we're going to start, but do let your colleagues, your friends know that we still have room. We still have space for people here in the Zoom room so that they can join us in our conversation this afternoon. Okay? Ayan, si Annalisa humahabol from Zamboanga City. So this afternoon, we're going to talk about flowing with grace, expanding horizons with the flow state. And for those of you who do not know me yet, and dun sa mga may kilala na rin sa akin because I've been hosting the Positive Workplaces free webinars for a long time, and we've been giving the opportunity for our interns to do the same. I'm Gabby, and I'm the Learning and Development Officer of Positive Workplaces. So we're really, really proud of our mission that we co-create cultures that enhance the well-being of the Filipino workforce and the workplace in general. Because we believe na hindi naman kami yung expert sa kanya-kanyang workplaces nyo, kaya we co-create that culture. You know your culture better than us, and we're just here to bring you enhancements. Paano ba natin mas mapapabuti para yung well-being natin ay mapangalagaan pa natin? And we are able to create those positive cultures by what we call the positivity ripples. And it all starts with you, or by leading the self. Because when we are able to lead ourselves, really take in the knowledge about positive psychology, leadership, how to control our emotions, lahat yan, pag na-apply natin siya sa kanya-kanyang buhay natin, that's we are able to model it for others or even teach it with others. Kung hindi pa nga i-model, it's also how we end up interacting with other people. Kaya susunod na yung we are able to lead others, we are able to lead cultures and create those positive workplaces. So I know that you're so excited for our topic this afternoon, but let me just give you some of our reminders. As per usual, we hope that you have another device ready or even just a new tab open, because we are going to go to another link and we have some questions for you over on Menti. You can also prepare a pen and paper for your notes, and we also highly encourage engagement with the chat. And for the past webinars, nakikita ko na ang daming attendees or learners who also want to share their stories. So if there are times where we can have you unmute or you really want to share your story na kailangan naming ma-share to, Gabby. So please unmute us. Just raise your hand and we'll surely unmute you during the session. But of course, please remember that you should be respectful in the chat box. We will also be issuing an evaluation form at the end of the webinar for those in the Zoom room only. So again, if you still have friends, if you still have office mates na alam mo, girl, kailangan mo ng lesson tungkol dito sa flow state, please send it to them. If you have teammates who you think will benefit from this topic, please share the link with them and they can still join us for our webinar this afternoon. So again, at the end of the webinar, when you open the link we will be giving you, please check 10, the title, the email address, and the name that you will be putting in on that form. Because once you put that in, once you type that in, kung ano yung nilagay nyo, yun yung lalabas dun sa certificate nyo, since our certificates are automatically generated. So we hope that there will be a decrease of inquiries about yung mali yung na-type nila. Please do double check. Kasi part yan ng leading the self, di ba? Na pag nililid natin yung self natin, we make sure na tama yung sinesend natin. Okay? Pero huwag kayong mag-alala kasi I also have some slip-ups. Alam niyo yon, nung college ako, meron kaming math. Akala ko nung magsa-psych ka, walang math sa psych. Pero apparently may psychological statistics. Tama palagi yung ginagawa ko. Tama yung sinundan kong formula, pero mali yung final answer kasi meron pala akong maling nalagay na number, maling nakopya sa calculator. So I hope that carelessness will not be our best friend, but let's check kung ano man yung isa-submit natin. And then lastly, we are going to open the evaluation form for 30 minutes. And if you have any concerns or questions, you can email us at engage@positiveworkplaces.org. And we will be entertaining your inquiries up to 1 week after the event. Okay? So can I see a thumbs up if we're clear on the reminders that we gave out this afternoon? You can send them over as a reaction. So there are 12, 13 who are already giving their reactions. Sa chat box, let me just know if you're all ready, because we are moving forward to the last webinar in this series. So for the first, ayan, Maria, I'm not sure if you have a question that maybe you can type that in the chat box. Okay, so for our November series, we have been talking about resilient transformation, navigating change for thriving workplaces. So we know that there are a lot of things happening in the workplaces. We have to take care of our well-being. We have to be able to let go of people, or ilimbawa kung tayo yung nile-let go, we should also know how to care for ourselves and at the same time be compassionate for our companies. And that's what Lian and Mia have been discussing the past 2 Wednesdays. And for today, we have what we call flowing with grace, expanding horizons with the flow state. And our resource speaker this afternoon is Anselmo Pagulayan. He has a plethora of work experiences in the field of psychology, education, psychotherapy, counseling, social research, behavioral design, sports, visual and expressive arts, and non-government sectors. He passed the PRC Psychology Board examinations last August 2023. He has also conducted 300 plus hours worth of counseling, scientific research, training, and assessment related engagements. This includes, but is not limited to, field interviews, individual counseling, couples counseling, implementation and revision of psychological assessment tools, production of teaching materials, private tutoring, handling of preschool children, facilitation of seminars, social media management, and the coordination with corporate and educational partners. So without further ado, let us welcome our resource speaker this afternoon, Anselmo Pagulayan of Pulang Kidlat Performance Research. Hi, Pagu. Good afternoon.
Hi, Gabby. Good afternoon. Yeah, and thank you for that flattering intro. No? This is something that we've been talking or going back and forth nung binubuo natin yung topic natin. Yeah, and siguro to go on forward na rin, we'll be talking about why is it, bakit importante yung flow state or ano yung relevance nga nung flow state sa ating workplace or sa ating daily endeavors. No? So again, yung title ng ating topic or yung key topic natin for today is Flowing with Grace or Expanding Our Horizons with the Flow State. So again, a quick intro lang about sa akin. Yun nga, I'm currently conducting counseling services at a particular psychosocial services firm. So sa sa QC banda, and has community engagement roles at a behavioral design company. Ito sa Pasig naman. I was also able to develop modules for various psychosocial projects, and I'm currently dedicated to some athletic and creative pursuits. So enough about that. Maybe we can start with a quick activity or a very brief activity. So I hope ready yung ibang devices nyo, no? Yung mga yung phones nyo, and I hope you're familiar with our platform Mentimeter because we're going to answer some brief questions or from some brief statements on that particular platform. So siguro think about that last activity that you were engrossed in so maybe for the past few months or maybe for the past few weeks. And maybe within that context, score the following statements from 1 to 5, with 1 as strongly disagree and 5 as strongly agree. So sa mga following, sa mga susunod na slides, makikita nyo may mga statements relevant to our topic today. So, but before that, please give yourself a moment to think about that particular activity where you were really engrossed in. Maybe ito yung nasa trabaho ka, siguro ito yung ginagawa mo yung paborito mong hobby, o nagpe-painting ka, o maybe nagluluto ka, no? So think about that, and then makikita nyo sa next slide na pwede mong mapuntahan yung ating questions, no? So feel free to go to follow that link that na pinost ni Gabby sa ating chat box. So don't worry about it. We'll be going through the statements per slide. Hindi naman natin wala naman pressure to accomplish the statements agad-agad. Wala naman tayong pa-premyo dito. We're generally trying to understand kung ano yung experience natin of na sinasabi ng mga statements na yun, no? So maybe I'll give you a moment to follow I hope nakita na nila yung na scan na nila yung QR code, no? And I hope naka-open na yung Mentimeter. Okay. So siguro we can start with our first statement, no, Gabi? Ano nga ba yung siguro ito yung first among the 5. Maybe some of the statements that you can think about. First off, I enjoy challenging tasks or activities that require a lot of focus. If this resonates with you, maybe may naaalala ka mga moments na yung mga moments na naalala mo na parang nai-enjoy mo yung that particular activity, but because it's easy for you to be immersed with that particular activity. Kumbaga, regardless of that activity, na-enjoy mo lang yung intrinsic moment na immersed ka dun sa ginagawa mo, no? Kumbaga, na-enjoy mo yung pagkakataon na not just, hindi dependent dun sa activity, but you enjoy that experience of being focused or being immersed in that particular activity, whatever that is, no? So, again, for just answer 1 to 5, we'll go through each naman and hihimay-himayin naman natin siya, no? And then yung second statement naman, when I am focused on a task or activity, I quickly tend to forget my surroundings, other people, time, and place. May mga pagkakataon ba kayong you're that deep in that particular activity na nakakalimutan yung oras, nakakalimutan yung mag-breakfast, nakakalimutan yung kumain. Hopefully, hindi naman sana nakakalimutan maligo, no? Joke lang. Pero, yun. Nakakalimutan yung mga basic needs nyo, kumbaga. So, when you're that deep in that particular activity that you're doing, nakakalimutan mo yung mga, kumbaga, for that moment, nakakalimutan mo yung basic needs mo such as, or yung mga paligid mo, in short, no? And then, sa next slide naman, it is difficult for me to walk away from or quit a project I am currently working on. Napansin mo ba sa sarili mo na it's not easy for you to, hindi ganun kadali sa'yo pakawalan ng isang problem or activity that you're currently pursuing or you're currently in the middle at. So for example, ito yung mga pagkakataon na you're deep in that particular problem or you're deep in that particular dilemma that you're trying to solve, maybe work dilemma or maybe a creative problem, and you have that satisfaction or parang intrinsic sa yung satisfaction to pursue that particular solution to it. It's not about the particular output. It's not about the extrinsic reward that you're after, but it's rather you're after that particular experience of trying to solve the process itself. No? So, kung naranasan mo ngayon, pwede mo naman, you can feel free to, just feel free to rate kung 1 to 5, from 1 to 5, no? And sa next slide naman, when I focus on something, I often forget to take a break. And so ito yung sinasabi natin kanina na nakakalimutan natin magpahinga, nakakalimutan natin kumain, na sobrang immersed kasi tayo dun sa activity na ginagawa natin, no? So may mga pagkakataon nga na nakakalimutan ko yung aking basic needs while in that particular activity. And then, lastly, I develop an interest for most of the things that I do in life, or for things that I do in life. Kumbaga, ito yung mga pagkakataon na na-enjoy mo yung, regardless of that activity, you enjoy the experience of being immersed in a particular activity. it's easy for you to bring up that experience or experience of interest regardless of an activity. So for example, inaya ka ng mga ka-circle mo or mga colleagues mo, ng mga tropa mo to go bowling, or for example, to go for archery, or for example, to go, ano pa ba nga ba yung mga social activity na, but basta any social activity that requires a bit amount of engagement and a bit amount of challenge. It's easy for you to get absorbed to that towards that particular activity. It's easy for you to get absorbed regardless of the activity, no? Okay. And then sige na, of course, hindi I'd like to hear sana, or if you resonate with these statements, or maybe there are statements that really struck with you, or parang may mga statements that really struck with a particular experience, feel free to share naman sa ating yeah, may nag-share na direct message. Okay. Kapag broken-hearted po, nakakalimutan po lahat. Sige, meron tayong dyan. Meron tayong rebut dyan mamaya. Oo. Mamaya, kapag broken-hearted po. Kasi totoo naman, nakakalimutan ko yung lahat kapag broken-hearted ka, di ba? Kumbaga, hindi mo na naiisip yung nangyayari sa iyo externally. Pero mamaya, meron tayong rebut dyan, no? Pero ayan, so siguro, maybe I can give you a moment to absorb, or tapos naman na siguro lahat, no? Hopefully, they were able to answer the statements. So isang thumbs, ayan, ang dami na pala. Ayan. So it seems here na ang mga karamihan sa ating sagot ay naglilin towards sa right or towards sa agree, no? I'm happy to know na, or I'm happy to see na marami sa atin nag-lean sa right. Kasi ano yung ibig sabihin nun if most of your answers for the statements are ranging sa 3 to 5 or ranging towards the right? It means that it's easy for you to go into that experience, or it's easy for you to go into that particular state, which is the flow state. It's easy for you to note kapag nandun ka sa state na yun, and you're very much familiar with going into that state. So yun yung ibig sabihin na yun, nung sagot ninyo if you answered mostly towards the right or towards the 5, no? So it's a good news, or not really, I wouldn't say good news, but I'm happy to learn that, or it's very admirable to learn that it seems hindi naman ganun kadali or hindi ganun kahirap pala sa atin to go into that particular state, no? So, ano nga ba yung relevance ng statements na yun? No? Ano nga ba yung makukuha natin out of that particular statement or out of those particular questions that you answered? Siguro before I go on, thumbs up nga kung okay pa ang ating participants. Thumbs up naman dyan kung nakasagot na tayo and complete, nasagot natin na maayos yung ating, yan. So, thumbs up nga dyan. Thumbs up sa ating chat kung okay pa tayo or we're still following. Okay pa naman. Ayan. Sige. So, siguro, kung makikita natin sa ano nga ba yung sinagutan natin? Or what did we answer? Or what was the relevance of answering those statements? So ito kasi, yung sinagutan nyo kasi is a recent study on the flow proneness scale. These statements were derived from a recent 13-item scale that assesses the individual's capacity to go into flow state. So, it means kasi it is a very recent study, 2023, I believe, na assesses how easy for us or how familiar you are with the particular state, which is yung flow state. So, again, might we ask, ano nga ba itong pinag-uusapan natin? Ano nga ba itong flow state na to? So makikita natin doon, ito. So ano nga po, actually may pa-premyo po tayo. Um, may GCash po sa mga kapagbasa nito, de joke lang. um, pero anyone does anyone know or is anyone familiar with this proponent or this particular individual? Anyone knows, kilala niyo po ba ano po bang basa dito? Sige na nga, silat na nga. Ang basa po dito is Csikszentmihalyi. So, sino nga ba si Csikszentmihalyi? Ang first name niya is Mihai, and then ang last name niya is Csikszentmihalyi. So, sino nga ba si Mihai Csikszentmihalyi? Si Mihai Csikszentmihalyi ay isang proponent or siya yung proponent ng ating tinatawag na flow state. So makikita natin dun sa next slide, according to him, or nagkaroon siya ng, for his particular research, he asked, why do people perform time-consuming, difficult, and often dangerous activities for which they receive no discernible extrinsic rewards? So parang napapansin nila or nakita niya bakit may mga taong nag-engage sa mga dangerous activities na wala naman sila makukuhang award, wala namang immediate recognition, or wala namang immediate pa-GCash, no? For example. So yun yung, ang ginawa niya kasi, he explored or he recruited the participation of rock climbers, chess players, and athletes and artists. So he interviewed these people, and what he found out was that these athletes and artists all describe a subjective state wherein they are completely involved, that they lose their sense of time, their sense of fatigue, and everything else but the activity itself. So this somewhat resonates with our statement questions, no? It's about that particular activity that allows them to forget about time, their sense of fatigue, and everything else but the activity itself. Makikita naman natin sa next slide kung paano niya describe yung particular experience na yun, or paano niya pinut into words while being in flow state. So sabi ni Csikszentmihalyi, you're right in the work, you lose your sense of time, you're completely enraptured. Plus points sa mga kahula, ibig sabihin ng enraptured, the joke lang. You're completely caught up in what you're doing when you are working on something and you are working well. You have the feeling that there's no other way of saying what you're saying. No? So, makikita nyo mamaya yung mga factors that allows us, or yung mga bagay na, or yung mga specific factors na allows us to feel this particular experience, what Csikszentmihalyi is talking about. So makikita natin sa next slide, yung pinaliwanag niyang yun, or yung describe niyang passage na yun, it involves the merging of action and awareness, where individuals feel no distinction between the act and the action. The self feels united with the activity. So ito yung mga pagkakataon na naging automatic or nagbe-blur yung line between you and the action itself. So kumbaga, hindi na nagkakaroon ng masyadong differentiation yung ginagawa mo o yung in awareness mode patungo dun sa ginagawa mo. And ano yung mangyayari nun kapag ganun? Parang hindi mo na, of course, hindi ka nagkakaroon ng second thoughts. You lose that hesitation to pursue or to commit to that activity. So parang nagkakaroon ng union between you and that particular action. Meron ding a sense of control or a lack of anxiety about losing control in a particular activity. So ang ibig sabihin lang nito is when you're engaged in that particular activity, to put it short, you feel a bit more, or there is a certain degree of confidence towards that particular activity. Siguro parang if I would personally describe it, there is a sense of unity such that you already have, nakikita mo na yung foreshadowing, or nakikita mo na yung, nagkakaroon ka ng foresight as what you can do next, or nagkakaroon ka ng foresight as to what sequence of actions to follow through. Talking about that particular activity that you're engaged in, no? And lastly, an altered sense of time, where time seems to pass swiftly. So, kagaya nga nung nabanggit kanina, no? Ay, oo nga pala, para sa mga participants natin, feel free to chat your thoughts, no? Pwede naman kayo kung mag-direct message kung nahihiya kayo, kung hindi pa kayo sure sa thoughts nyo, feel free to share it directly naman sa Zoom account ko. So again, an altered sense of time where time seems to pass swiftly. Kung may nagbigay ng example kanina, may nag-direct message na paano kung heartbroken eh? Parang or another example, yung pagdo-doom scroll or yung nag-i-scroll ka lang sa feed, no? Hindi ba pagkatapos nun parang hindi ba altered sense of time nun? Parang magugulat ka na, may mga pagkakataon nga pagkatapos natin mag-scroll, ay gabi na pala, ay madilim na pala. Pero ang pinaka-rebat natin doon, or what makes it distinct from the qualities of flow state is that after flow state, you have to ask, did it make you feel refreshed? You have to ask, naramdaman mo ba na na-refresh ka? Naramdaman mo ba na you were able to challenge your current limits? When, yan all caps pa, yan, ay, direct message pala. When you are passionate with what you are doing, you are in your flow state. I also agree, ma'am. I'm very malaking bagay yung yung personal motivations natin and connection natin sa experience ng flow state. May sinabi nga si Chick sent me hi about motivations, but that won't be the scope, won't be included sa scope ng natin. And that's another depth, mas malalim din na usapan yun. But yeah, very true. Thank you for that thought din. Napaka-importante ng personal motivation sa pagkakaroon ng flow state. So again, paano nga ba 'yon? Kung nagdo-doom scroll ka or parang hindi ba altered sense of time 'yon? Again, you have to ask yourself kung na-refresh ka, kung naramdaman mo you were able to go beyond your current limits. You were able to go beyond what your current capacities, no? And makikita natin sa next slide, ano yung itsura nito sa mga atleta at saka sa mga artists. Ano yung itsura? How do we illustrate flow state sa ating mga atleta or sa ating mga artists? Isa sa mga conditions or isa sa mga conditions ng pagiging or being in the flow state is that our attention is fully invested on the task at hand so much that elements beyond the immediate interaction fail to enter our awareness. Kagaya nga nung sinabi dun sa tatlong qualities ng flow state, no? Yung kanina. And yung kung ano yung flow state. And then, sa next slide, parang from time to time, kung pag-uusapan kasi natin, flow might sound an elusive state to be in, but not for action and adventure sports athletes. Mamaya, bibigyan natin ng rationale kung bakit action sport and athletes yung nagiging reference point natin for the flow state. But according to Kotler, meron akong book niya hindi po ako sponsored, but it's something that I've read personally and something that I really enjoyed reading. He says that accelerated progression and innovation in extreme sports, apart from a number of significantly important soft skills and qualities, factors flow, which is yung flow state. Factors flow a lot for its athletes' successes. For example, another description or another justification here is as inducing such state might be one of the greater reason performers are well and alive after a particular stunt. I've read somewhere in the passage, or I read the passage in the book na for action sports athletes and or for extreme sport athletes, it's flow state or perish. Ano ibig sabihin nun? From time to time, the only choice or the only choice that they have is to go into that flow state for them to be able to commit properly to that particular performance, no? So, ang sinasabi dito, they owe it to flow a lot why they're unharmed or why they're okay after a particular stunt, because it puts them into a zone that's not accessible, not if not for flow state, no? We're not trying to be exclusive here din naman, pero um yung extreme sport athletes, they put themselves on through physical harm, just as creatives and artists put themselves expose themselves sa social risk. So, ang naging reference point lang dito, ang pinaka-difference lang dito is that extreme sport athletes, physical risks for siguro for those who are engrossed in their roles and responsibilities sa kanilang trabaho, they place themselves as siguro sa organizational or social risks. So artists naman, they put themselves in yung risk, they take risks as to whether yung ideas ba nila papatok or maybe masyadong edgy ba kaya yung ideas ko. So isa sa mga reference points lang na ginamit ni Kotler ang ginamit ni Steven Kotler for this circumstance is extreme sport athletes. For what reason? Makikita natin sa next slide. Kasi it is them who constantly or habitually places themselves into harm's way and who inevitably allows themselves access to that particular state. Kasi sabi ni Edward Hallowell, author of Driven to Distraction, flow catapults you to a level that you're not naturally in. It naturally transforms a weakling into a muscle man, a sketcher into an artist, and a dancer into a ballerina. Yon. So sa mga ganito pagkakataon, flow allows you to access that particular state o yung heights that magugulat ka sa sarili mo na kaya mo pala, no? So that's why siguro ang title ng webinar natin is titled Expanding Your Horizons, no? It's being able to see beyond your current capabilities if you have the proper foundations, no? That's very important, no? If you have the proper foundations. So Gabby and I had a discussion about this. It's important to have that proper foundation if you're going to access flow state, or not access if you're going to practice going into flow state, no? So makita natin sa next slide. If you're familiar with Formula 1, Ayrton Senna described it this way. Suddenly, I realized that I was no longer driving the car consciously. I was driving it by a kind of instinct. Only I was in a different dimension. On that day, I said to myself that was the maximum for me. No room for anything more. I never really reached that feeling again. So, kung mapapansin nyo, meron ditong merging of action and awareness. Kung mapapansin nyo sa sinabi niya, I realized that I was no longer driving the car consciously. So parang may dito nag-blur yung individual, him as an individual and the action itself. Because sabi niya, he was driving the car by a kind of instinct. So may element of being spontaneous, no? And the way that he says, siguro, maybe he was hinting here when he said, I was in a different dimension. Parang sinabi niya, there was this me that na parang unencumbered by external circumstances. Kagaya nga kanina nung sinasabi natin yung hindi ko na namamalayan na nangyayari sa paligid ko. It's like I'm merged with the particular, or I'm very much immersed in the on the activity that I'm currently pursuing, no? So, makita naman natin sa next slide, another example, meron kasing case study na ginawa kay Manny Pacquiao and followed his yung progress niya into being the athlete that he is right now. Or that yeah, tama. Dito kung makikita nyo, ang sinabi kasi dun sa case study na yon, the professional and amateur boxers see the sport as a means to live a more comfortable life. For most, it's about survival. Kung makikita nyo yung word na survival, kung kanina pinag-usapan natin yung extreme sport athletes or yung mga flow junkies kung tawagin natin, they voluntarily expose themselves into danger. The only difference here is that the environment exposes the individual, kumbaga yung environment na nag-expose na ng danger dun sa individual. Like for example, dito, ano yung naging danger when Pacquiao was developing in his sport? Ano yung naging danger niya? Or what was the surrounding danger in his environment? What do you think? Anyone who can guess? Ano kaya yung mga naging ano yung naging danger sa kanya or ano yung naging factor niya? Pero sige, Sirit na it seems then malabo yung baka vague pa yung tanong. But ang naging danger dito niya sa circumstance na to is poverty. Yung kumbaga because he was again hindi naman pinanganak na marangya si Pacquiao, na financially stable si Pacquiao, and he was propelled to be in that particular he was constantly or habitually propelled to be in that particular state that he is in, and what made him to be who he is right now, no? So kung makikita nyo rito, there's nothing fiercer than a cornered tiger, so to speak. So it's a case study that I've recently discovered, and maybe for myself, I'm going to read it, and it's very interesting kasi it goes to in depth, and it is an analysis of psychology sa local athletes natin, no? And yung context na pinaliligiran nila. So yon. Pero kung ito yung itsura nung flow state, ano yung mga conditions for going into that particular state? Ano yung mga magagandang habits na pwedeng, ano yung mga mas small habits or yung mga behaviors or yung mga maliit na bagay na pwede nating cultivate kung kung ayun yung itsura ng flow state? Ano yung mga bagay na pwede nating cultivate sa ating mga sarili? And ano yung mga sinasabi ng recent studies sa flow state din, no? Siguro first things first, according din kay Csikszentmihalyi, there are multiple conditions for flow, but there are at least 3 factors that should be given ample thought. Yung conditions for flow kasi ito yung mga bagay na pwede nating i-configure or pwede nating tandaan kung gusto nating or kung gusto nating i-cultivate yung flow state sa ating creative or personal endeavors, no? So, doon kasi sinabi ni Csikszentmihalyi, it involves a clear set of goals as they provide purpose and direction for behavior. So, it involves you being able to, siguro hinihimay mo, if not your, syempre, if it's you being able to identify specific goals, not necessarily grand ones or yung mga malalaki, but it's being able for you to parang parse or parang dissect first kung ano yung mga specific goals na yun, no? Kasi it paves the way for you to be able to accurately perceive those challenges and skills that you have. So it also involves kasi a balance between perceived skills and perceived challenges. Kasi when these two things are well matched, attention is completely absorbed. So sinabi din kasi ni Csikszentmihalyi, there has to be that certain balance of for flow to happen or maybe progression to happen. There seems to kailangan may right amount of balance between the challenge and that particular skill set. So siguro ang pabaon siguro dito sa ating participants ngayon, it's you being able to parang not siguro jump ahead, or yung parang it's you being able to identify specific or those simple behaviors or simple factors that contribute to that particular experience. So it's being able uh, to gauge kung ano yung kaya mo at the moment and gauge the environment or gauge the challenges of that particular environment. So for example, doon din kasi sa book ni Steven Kotler, yung the way we perceive or yung mga nakikita nating performances ng mga extreme sport athletes did not come from them immediately exposing themselves to great danger, but it was rather habitual and it was executed bit by bit, no? In the same way na kunyari you as an artist, you're always exploring what your current capabilities are in terms of your artistic expression, and it's not as simple as tatalon ka kaagad sa isa pang artistic endeavor na ini-explore mo pa lang, no? And also in the same way na kunyari sa trabaho, you've already experienced or you've already experienced a certain level or degree of familiarity with your current workload or with your current responsibilities. It's not asking your supervisors, oy, ito yung gusto ko. Oy, ito yung kaya ko na to. But it's rather piecing it bit by bit, or parang you're challenging yourself in a way na you're still discerning whether, or parang in a discerning manner, no? It's being able to try to as much as possible be precise or be accurate with, or try to be as much as possible na nagkakaroon ka ng level headed with what you can currently do and what the challenge is, no? And lastly, clear and immediate feedback. Ang pinagkaiba kasi siguro why the reason then Kotler and Csikszentmihalyi preferred artists and athletes, because there is immediate danger. Meron kasing immediate danger and may immediate feedback. And that feedback is injury or pagiging perish yon. Kumbaga yung pinaka feedback kasi nila, and why it's easy for them to always circulate that the process of being in the flow and in and out the flow is that for that particular reason. It's being able to know agad na this is what I have to adjust, this is what I have to improve on for me to avoid great physical risk. Siguro, in the context of work, maybe we can imagine this as having a trusted team member or having a trusted supervisor. You can design your workplace in such a way that also allows for clear and immediate feedback. Just like having a trusted coworker or having a trusted team member. So of course you ask them, in what ways I can improve, in what ways can I adjust, no? Sa mga ganung pagkakataon. So it's always take note, it's not exclusive to extreme sport athletes, itong experience of flow. So, ayun. And then makita natin sa next slide. Dun sa ito yung book na sinasabi ko, it's a book by Steven Kotler, and journalist siya who followed the stories of multiple extreme sport athletes. And he also not only he followed the accounts and stories of these athletes, but he also tried to parang ginamit niya to as reference point for as to how um, people not in extreme sport athletes can use what extreme sport athletes are using. So kumbaga, ginamit niya rin to sa konteksto ng trabaho, ginamit niya rin to sa konteksto ng iba't ibang klaseng organizations. Katulad dito, according to a 10-year study conducted by McKinsey, top executives reported being 5 times more productive in flow state. So parang it's not only about it's not parang hindi siya nakasara sa mga extreme sport. It's not exclusive again to those particular personalities, but we're using them as reference point as to how we can use their insights into our context, no? So again, sa next slide naman makikita natin there's also a study na higher quality of flow defined by intense concentration or loss of self-awareness and rewarding outcomes was positively associated with high arousal positive affect. Ano ibig sabihin nito? It means that being in that particular state or being in the flow state is most likely or apparently associated with positive emotions. But then this particular study is that what you have to be worried in about studies is that you have to understand the context of kung saan konteksto siya ginanap no? So, but then this study also says nga na one na flow, the state of flow is associated with positive affect, no? And lastly, makita naman natin sa next slide. A main finding of the study is that flow proneness is associated with major personality dimensions, neuroticism, and conscientiousness. Para sa mga sa ating psych nerds there, neuroticism, I guess may certain familiarity naman with the word neuroticism and conscientiousness, no? And it's also found out na flow state is unrelated to intelligence. So ang sinasabi nga lang dito, you don't have to read all of this or you don't have to read this jargony paragraph. But what is being said here is that there is positive flow state is positively associated with conscientiousness. So meaning kasi, ang definition kasi ng conscientiousness is being conscientious about your work, masinop kung sa Tagalog, pagiging masinop, is positively associated with the flow state. So parang sinasabi lang doon is kapag mas masinop ka, mas may possibility or there is much more possibility for you to go in that particular state, to go into that flow state. And ang sinasabi niya naman sa neuroticism, baliktaran naman. Neuroticism kasi is defined by negative emotions wherein you feel, ayon din kasi sa study na yun, you feel anxious or you feel hostile, you feel most of the negative emotions that you can identify are actually the more that you experience that, the less likelihood that you can go into flow state. So yun lang naman ang sinasabi ng study na yan. And sinabi rin nila na the flow state is unrelated to intelligence. So depende rin kasi kung ano kaninong standard or which framework ang gagamitin natin when we're talking about intelligence. So for example, pwedeng academic intelligence, pwedeng yun, academic intelligence, pwedeng ganun. But what they found out is that walang relation ito sa at for the most sa academic intelligence, no? So siguro temp check lang para sa ating mga participants. Thumbs up nga po kung nakakasunod pa. Okay pa naman po tayo. Thumbs up nga po dyan. Yan. So again, feel free to ask or to if you have ideas about the topic, or if you have things that you feel that you resonate with, feel free to share it sa ating chat box, no? And then ayan. Siguro kung mapapansin nyo, ayan, thank you, June. Kung mapapansin nyo, it's ang title ng project is Pulang Kidlat. So what is the project about? So very mabilis lang talaga to. Dadaanan ko lang na mabilis yung introduction about the project. It is about yung project kasi na ito, or yung personal project. It's a modest research initiative that intends to open a discussion as well as apply the science of performance and psychology to creative and athletic breakthroughs, physical fitness and mental health, sports, motor sports, and workplaces. So it's a matter of kumbaga, what Pulang Kidlat started was using, or the idea of using flow, or the thought of using flow sa different athletic and creative outlets. So dito kasi siguro in a way this is my share ko lang siguro yung personal project ko, and it's a way for me din kasi to in a way ako yung I try to be the guinea pig of the concept. So parang I try as much as I can to apply it towards my endeavors or my personal endeavors whenever I can, no? So kung makikita nyo sa next slide, it's specializes in applying these insights in its to its own creative and athletic endeavors. It's science having serious fun. So quick video lang. Flex ko lang ng konti yung mga activities na ginagamitan ko ng flow state. But it's also a way for us to express, or for me to express, na it's what parang to express na there's a constant connection, or there's that constant effort for me to connect the idea of flow state towards a particular activity. So ayan. So makikita nyo rito, may sige, sa next slide tayo. Ay, sige.
Enduro Cross 3, King of the Hill, Kinapuin. Itin sa power.
Okay na? Siguro what the point of that is there is a constant effort to connect the concept itself to actual circumstances. So ano yung mga possible applications, and ano pa yung mga iba pang limitations din siguro ng flow state? So makikita natin sa next slide. For scene applications, there is a possibility na, or there is a great opportunity na ma-apply yung flow state into corporate settings. There is a great opportunity na may apply yung flow state into different organizations. But then you also have to note that this is not a cure-all, or this is not a one-fit a solution for multiple problems, but rather this is one means that we are able to tackle certain psychosocial problems, no, or psychosocial dilemmas, such as organizational or unproductive or being unproductive in an organization or individual being unproductive as an individual, there are a lot of applications, not only again sa sports, but also sa mga problema na or sa mga daily tasks or routines natin. It's how we can harness this particular concept for us to be able to improve our current capacities, to expand our horizons. No, how can we use the flow state to see beyond what we see, or to go beyond what we are currently capable of? No, and then ayan, sige. So siguro for those who are interested, you can feel free to Google these resources. So meron tayong general flow prone scale katulad ng sinagutan nyo kanina. In flow, yun yung title ng research literature or yung scientific literature ni Csikszentmihalyi. So you can just Google it. Meron din tayong involved din dito yung book ni Steven Kotler, which is The Rise of Superman. And we also have an article pertaining to this that talks about this webinar. You can see it's a medium.com. And we also have a lot of other relevant materials that I use that you might be interested in reading yourself, no? So siguro Gabby, siguro quick question, Gabby, do we conduct the Q&A here or parang ikaw na yung mag-aano?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much, Pago. As I told you, even when we were just running over, diba, nung nag-run through tayo nito, sabi ko, you read the picture on how we can achieve the flow state in the different activities that we have been doing. So I think now is a great time to engage our audience for a quick Q&A. Actually, hindi nga quick. We have time to answer your questions. So we're gonna do it differently this time because we usually use Pigeonhole, but at this moment we can't seem to log in. I think there's a glitch in the app that we're using. So we're just back to Menti. I'm gonna share with you the link then in the chat box, but you can definitely scan the QR code that you can see on the screen. Or mali pala, if you don't parang have your camera with you or your phone with you, you can open another tab, go to menti.com and enter the code 88186338. 6338 para you can also ask Pago your questions. Ayan. So maybe we can give them like a minute or two to think of the questions. Oh, my question, Pago.
Maybe take ways, no? Yeah.
May quiz pala.
Oo, may Gcash, de joke lang.
I have a question. Ikaw, Pag, bukod dun sa mga nabanggit mo kanina, what other activities like make you go into the flow state?
Siguro, or what activities, no? Or yung mga conditions, or what can you do, no? Tama ba, Gabby?
Yeah, or ikaw personally, what?
Yeah. Siguro, ang personal practice ko is, I should have used the literature for this practice. Pero ang personal practice ko is, I try as much as possible when I'm doing a significant work. Zero distractions. Siguro it's as simple as turning off your notifications, or maybe making sure na you've already done your chores for a particular time period, and then parang naka-skew or naka-allot yung particular time mo sa isang period, so for that particular activity. No, so parang it's about managing your energy and managing your time.
Yes, actually may follow-up question ako. It's so nice na you're able to bring that up. I have a question. Paano yung ilambawa? I've been using Pomodoro kasi whenever I work. So parang I do 25 deep work and then may 5 minutes na break. Do you
Yeah.
think something that helps with flow? Or
Mm.
naisip ko tuloy, like, dapat ba, or is it like based on individual differences kung gaano kahaba yung deep work time mo and yung break
Yeah.
time? Yeah.
Gets ko yun, no? I also get that technique, yung Pomodoro technique, yung kumbaga time break ka, no? I mean, may
Yes.
time work, may time ka rin to do the particular work
Yeah.
for extended amount of time. May mga pagkakataon kasi na hindi mo na magugulat ka na lang or parang hindi mo na mabagkaila or parang when you're in that state na rin kasi nagiging secondary na lang yung timer. But it's also a way for you to go into that state. It's also for you to go to cultivate that particular state. Maybe parang for a certain time parang makikita mo na it allows you to manage your workload, yung Pomodoro. But then kapag naramdaman mo na nandun ka na, parang hayaan mo na lang, parang nararamdaman mo sa sarili mo na okay, tutuloy-tuloy ko na to kasi okay na ako eh. Gusto ko na ituloy-tuloy ito eh. So may mga ganong chances din.
Yeah. Yes, I resonate with that. Na parang it just helps you parang gain momentum.
Yeah,
Minsan parang ayoko nang gawin to, like last minute surge na lang. Pero it really does help you get into the flow. Ayan, we have questions coming in, so we can definitely start answering them. So what do you think will be the flow on esports, like playing computer games?
Yeah, alam ko nagkaroon ng recent research on this eh. Pero it's something that I also have to read on. Pero siguro the only difference is that particular activity eh. Kasi kung makikita mo, esports is also a developing organization or a developing activity wherein nagiging sports talaga siya, no?
Yeah.
So minsan pa nga may nagkakaroon pang pwede ba? Hindi. Kunyari may mga I'm sure you're familiar with that. Yung particular sports drink, mayroon talagang silang teams na I'm sure you're familiar with that sports drink, no, Gabby? Yeah. Pero they have particular teams na talaga na, and meron din kasing definitely they have their own training regimen. They have their own specific training methods as to how that particular gamer can improve his skills, no? So yeah, siguro nandun pa rin naman, it still resonates. Nandun pa rin naman yung factor of being in the zone while regardless of that activity. But definitely professional esports is one of those activities that allows you to go into flow, no? Yan,
Okay, I think maganda tong question.
Yeah, I
so
also like
difference between flow state and being in hyper-focus mode, intense fixation for those diagnosed with ADHD.
Ang ganda ng, I like the question too.
Yeah.
May mga meron din movement, no, Gabi, na yung tinatawag nating neurodivergent or yung who are able to maximize their unique neurological properties, no?
Yes.
Such as yung, for example, ito mismo yung ADHD. Siguro meron din alam ko may mga studies din that says na due to the psychological or neurological makeup of people with ADHD or individuals with ADHD, they have this propensity to go into particular state or yung hyper-focus na kung tawagin na makikita mo sa ADHD individual. Pero, of course, there are also conflicting studies about this. What is my personal take on this? Siguro hindi ako expert on the neurological aspect, but I do agree, or siguro meron din nakikita ko rin na it makes sense na from time to time meron din kasi mga those who has this neurological condition. Meron din, nakikita ko rin naman that it's also possible na there's an overlap, or they have that, most likely they have that particular advantage din from time to time. But again, syempre, conflicting ang studies. Yeah.
That's true. Parang I get what you're saying na there are overlaps, diba? There are characteristics to be with people who have this. They make it more easier to help. Tama ba? Diba?
Yeah.
Easier for them to go into that flow state. Na
Yeah. So parang kagaya din ng sinabi natin kanina, no, Gabby, may mga personality, may parang kunyari yung conscientiousness, no? Parang it's like that. Parang may mga certain factors that others are gift. Siguro yung parang yung iba meron certain advantage. Pero again, it's very conflicting, and flow is I don't believe flow is exclusive. Merong exclusivity sa being in that flow state.
Yes, parang it's more of a tool talaga na we can harness, diba?
Yeah.
So we will be able to either create the work that we wanna do.
Yeah.
And tsaka diba, parang si flow kasi it's more of the experience nga eh. It's not even the output that you're trying to create. It's really how you are in that.
Yeah. It's not about the definitely pag nagkataon or kapag mapalad kami, extrinsic rewards, but it's about it's inherently intrinsic.
Yes. We have, alam mo, sa totoo lang, I'm scanning the questions. I'm sorry, hindi ito yung ideal Q&A tool for this.
Yeah.
We're asking questions that really are parang worth answering and will definitely help our learners understand the concept more. So I think we will be able to run through them. Siguro ito, when the momentum was disrupted or gone to the activities that you usually do, and slowly motivation is slipping away, what advice can you share on how to get back on track? Siguro from yung sinabi natin kanina na itry mo mag-Pomodoro, guys.
Yun.
Get into that momentum. Sige, go, Pagi.
Thank you rin, Gabby, for that. One thing, yung Pomodoro parang kasing cycle siya, no?
Yeah.
It's a cycle, eh. At the same way din na may natural cycles din yung katawan mo. Then the same way din na may natural cycle ka, or may natural endurance, or may endurance ka for that particular activity. So, it's not like, kunyari, hindi naman all the time is, siguro gagamitin ko din yung knowledge ko from expertise from as someone who studied psych. I think the important thing there is you have to realize na your body is kumbaga may cycle din yung katawan mo, same as you feel sleepy, same as you feel hungry, and same at the same time then you feel those moments na you feel focused. And what we're trying to do here is what are the conditions, or how can we make it happen, or how can we make it work for us in that particular state, or we have to consider nga yung we are made of mental and physical cycles, no? Meron tayong natural cycles sa ating katawan, and how can we take note of those patterns, no, for us to harness flow state.
Yes. Ibig mo ba sabihin, parang, di ba, may mga tao na very active yung utak nila in the morning. May iba man, like in workplace, like our marketing officer, senior officer, he best works at night talaga. So like, if ever gusto mo siyang makausap or you want his best ideas, it's best to engage him. Alam mo na gagawin niya sa gabi. So like, bigyan mo end of day, dun mo ipasok yung mga kailangan mo from him. Yung tama ba, Bago? That's...
Yeah. Oo.
Learning cycles, yeah.
Yeah. It also, parang you also have to consider the natural cycle of that particular individual, which is yung ano, kung ano yung oras na active yung isipan mo.
Yeah.
Kasi about under flow, there are a lot of, ito yung flow, di ba?
Yeah.
Marami ring factors that contribute to flow, and parang napahapyawan lang natin siya kanina.
Yeah.
There are also different factors that contribute to that particular state. Gandang
Ito
tanong.
alam mo, when I saw this question, well, I was curious din ako. Kasi parang feeling ko when we use flow, ano ba yung flow in our language? Di ba parang pag sinabi nating flow, in the zone, or like, yun talaga eh. Sa Filipino, meron ba tayong term? Would you know? Yeah.
May nakalimutan akong analogy na i-drop kanina. Nabanggit ko ba siya? Yung kabayo na may tapaong. Pero siguro metaphor siya, pero I think mayroon pa siguro mas precise na specific term. Pero yung pinaka-metaphor na naiisip ko ngayon is yung kabayo na may tapaong.
Yeah.
Ang ganda ng tanong eh. Napaano rin na. What do you guys think? Kayo kaya sa ating participant? No?
Tama. Baka meron sa audience natin who's...
Baka merong dyan, ideas.
True. Yung mga...
Flow.
Flow.
Ayan.
Sige, Joshua.
Yan.
Yan. Baka meron ba mga mas knowledgeable sa language natin. But we'll definitely, that's a good question. You can research that and we'll let you know.
Yan. Ano tuloy ako? Na-intriga
ba? Ito, feeling ko very relatable, especially for those, ilambawa kung manager ka, di ba? Parang you wear difficult and different hats na mentor, tapos you report to a boss. You also handle your own team. How can they discover flow when they are wearing these things? Or baka kahit as an individual, di ba? Parang they naman, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a worker, I'm a student. Yun yung sa akin ngayon, bago. I'm a student, I'm a worker.
Paano mo despite napapalit-palit ka ng hats, no?
Yes, yes.
It's also a good question kasi it helps us ground yung concept ng flow state and allows us to see kung ano yung mga kaya niyang abutin. Pero when we are wearing difficult and different hats, again, I remember we had the discussion about this, Gabi, no?
Yeah.
Merong certain conditions or may mga certain foundations for you to parang may mga foundations ka na or may mga prerequisites or may mga foundations ka na kailangan mong establish to an extent for you to be able to go into flow.
Yeah.
No? But then it does not mean na you're not you won't be able to go into that particular state, but it's just that you have your own set of difficulties and challenges then. Siguro I think this is the importance of putting into context or considering the context of kung saan natin i-apply yung concept. I think yun yung pinakasagot ko eh. It's medyo patanong din yung sagot ko eh.
True.
Pero one thing is that parang maybe don't feel discouraged na it's harder for you, or maybe allow yourself to discover that particular challenges or allow yourself to discover the solutions to your particular context, no?
I love that. I love yung discover how flow works for you. Parang what we learn in theory will always be parang rigid. Para siyang prescriptive. Ito dapat meron. Pero at the end of the day, when you parang apply it, ikaw talaga yung maghahanap how it will go for you, no?
Yeah. May mga,
Ayan, let's see. Ay, parang dalawa yung nakita kong ganito. Merong, I want my team to enter the flow state. How can I use these conditions in the office?
Mm-mm.
Tsaka, what are some office-based activities we can engage into to reach a state of flow?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Siguro magandang i-connect din dyan, Gabi, yung naisip ko ngayon yung kanina, yung clear and immediate feedback, no?
Ah,
Mm-mm. Apart from that is, parang the point of that is designing the workplace environment in such a way that is conducive to flow state. Siguro to specify, one factor is yung isa sa naiisip ko na significant or na relevant is being able to relay that clear and immediate feedback. It's being it's na in such a way na they don't feel like na they're being criticized personally. Parang you kasi as a supervisor, you have that responsibility towards your people, eh. And you also have that responsibility to parang steer your team members towards the goal of your organization, no? And in that manner, one way that you can they will benefit from, one way that you can assist them or you can steer your team towards the goal of the organization is to provide that that kind of feedback wherein they don't feel like they don't feel criticized as a person. They don't feel na kinikriticize mo la as sila as ano, constructive criticism, kumbaga. May mga topics din na ihiramin tayo outside of flow, but then I limit myself as much as possible to flow. Okay? Pero definitely there are other concepts here that will be relevant na ipasok, no? But then constructive criticism is one I can borrow outside of flow state. The concept of flow.
yeah. Alam mo, I resonate with that because in positive workplaces, ilambawa, pag may ginagawa kaming mga learning session, ganito, what we do is we do a prototype, we do an outline, tapos we immediately receive feedback from the facilitators na, okay, I need to focus more on this. O kaya, maybe we can expound. Paano natin to isa-scaffold?
Yeah.
So, as a content designer or like researcher, alam mo ngayon kung saan ka pupunta. So you can do that deep dive, di ba?
Yeah.
Imbes na, go ahead, Pago.
Tama, Gabi. You don't make it ambiguous for your team members, no? Kaya nga clear and immediate feedback, di ba?
Yeah, yung clear. Emphasis on the clear.
Not ambiguous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I want yung sinabi mo kanina, yung distractions. I think ang daming present talaga na distractions din in the workplace. So I'm not sure how, as a team leader, baka pwedeng meron din kayo nung, alam mo, hindi ko alam kung nakikita mo sa videos, yung, halimbawa, lalabas sila, to friends, tapos ilalagay lang nila sa isang bag lahat ng phone nila, tapos kung sino yung unang kukuha, siya yung magbabayad ng bill.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm not sure if like that's something you can do in the office. Halimbawa, during, sabi mo, deep work time, lahat isang ano lang yung, ano nyo, ang kung sino yung mahuli na may hawak ng phone,
malilibre ng lunch.
Ng merienda or something.
Hindi naman parang hindi naman, at least for a specific amount of time lang, no, Gabi. It's not
specific amount of time. Yeah. Diba?
It's important.
Yeah, you gotta get creative. Yun yung I think that's where the art of managing or like leading a team comes in. Diba? How can I be as creative as possible and how can I really motivate my teammates to do the same, to like perform better? Ayan, magkasunod niya sila. Ayan. Is flow something that can be learned or cultivated, or is it something intrinsic that comes from within?
Medyo artistic, poetic tong question na to.
Nature versus nurture.
Let me think about this. Is flow something that can be learned? Kasi the thing about flow is that it is a state na it's a state that is ubiquitous, meaning nararanasan everywhere. It's present everywhere. The only thing yung sorry, what was ano ulit yung Gabi?
Sorry, is it nature na it really comes within you, or is it nature na is it learned or cultivated when we're already doing something?
We can tama, nature, talagang lumalabas yung nature versus nurture, no?
Yeah.
Parang you can as much as possible learn how to get into that particular state. But it will also depend on your natural propensity or yung nature mo to go into that state. So it depends on those two factors.
True.
So, di ba? Nature, sinalo tayo ng nature versus nurture na ano.
Kaya nga. Pero I think you've covered this kasi di ba sinabi mo nga, there are some intrinsic characteristics sa atin.
Yeah.
Alam mo si conscientiousness. If you're really high on that, like it really naturally comes out of you, it's easier for you to be,
Yes.
di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Compared to people who are high in neuroticism,
Yeah.
for example, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
And alam din naman natin based on studies like that were published na some of these, parang to an extent, present na siya sa atin.
Yeah.
Diba? So,
parang,
yeah, go ahead.
We were given attributes nung pinanganak tayo eh. We were all given certain attributes. And parang yung nature or yung nurture din yung, in a way, siguro steered us in a particular way, ganun, pagpaiba-iba, ganun.
Yes. And dun siguro mag-vary or papasok si nature.
Yeah.
Na it depends on an individual. Kasi limbawa, for a highly conscientious person, it will not take them, parang, alam mo yung innate sense of responsibility nila over to do a job. And for people na mas mababa yung conscientiousness, you need to parang enforce more boundaries ba or rules. They really focus on and do the sabihin na natin project or task in the office, diba? So that they will be able to really complete. May external deadline siguro, or hindi pala, internal. Kasi external deadline, mga day before natin gagawin yun.
Oo, yung mga ano dyan.
Diba? Ayan. I think, ang ganda. Pago, thank you so much for this Q&A. Yeah. I'm not sure if you want to, siguro ito, this is the best. Siguro, hindi ko itong best. Kasi ang either yan or ito yung itatanong ko. So, which one, or like, what question do you want to answer so that we can end our discussion on that note? Is it on the disadvantage, or can experiencing or practicing flow contribute to mental toughness?
Maganda yung questions nila both, but siguro yung ano na lang, disadvantages.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kasi we also have to syempre pinag-uusapan natin yung benefits and yung yung parang yung benefits na makukuha natin from being in the state. But we also have to consider the limitations of flow state. Dito, siguro I'd like to rephrase it rather than disadvantage. I'd like it to rephrase it rather to limitations of flow state.
Okay.
May mga, siguro, I also said this kanina, na you have to have that certain degree of foundation for you to go into that, or for you to cultivate flow state. Siguro gagamitin ko na lang din yung experience natin, Gabi, no, when we're handling clients, no, sa counseling setup. Tama, no? We also, Gabi and I also had a discussion on this. You can't cultivate, or you can't, hindi mo pwedeng ipasas ang flow state, or you can't try to cultivate flow state sa mga tao that who are gravely emotionally distressed. So for example, yung mga grave cases such as deep depression, or such as yung may mga suicidal tendencies. What will just happen is that they'll be annoyed. It's not kailangan kasi maayos muna yung foundation nila before we go into the flow state. You can, hindi, yun nga, kagaya din ng sinabi natin kanina, hindi siya cure-all, yung flow state. It's about recognizing din na before you can employ flow state, you have to consider the individual person. You have to consider the current capacity of the individual person, which is kung kaya niya pang tanggapin pa muna yung flow state. Kung siya ay suicidal, for example, or siya ay very gravely emotionally distressed, it's not, hindi mo pwedeng i-employ sa kanya yung flow state, unfortunately. But you have to wait, or you have to solve another set of problems bago mo pa siya mapunta, before he or she is prepared to take on flow state. No? So yun lang naman.
I love how you ended that. Q&A, Pagu. Alam mo, ang naaalala ko dyan, parang we all have to be in the green zone. Alam mo yun, parang dapat regulated tayong lahat so that we will be able to enter that and really harness the benefits of entering that state. Yan. So are there any last words that you'd like to give us before we move on to the next part of our program?
Yes. Siguro for sa participants, I appreciate you lending an ear sa ating sa itong concepts na ito. Ako personally, I believe it's something na makakapagdagdag ng value rin sa workforce natin in general. And I really appreciate the openness and yung openness ng ating participants, no. And kayo na rin, Gabby, I really appreciate the openness din towards the topic itself. So thank you for this opportunity nga. Really appreciate it.
Thank you also, Pagu, for sharing your expertise with us. So if you'd like to reach him and work with Pagu and Pulang Kidlat Performance Research, you can see the contact details on the screen. So we'll also share that shortly in the chat box so that you can connect with him on LinkedIn or even send him an email and even a message right after. Thank you so much, Pagu. And
thank you, Gabby.
Everyone for staying with us on this Wednesday's topic. Grabe, no? Ang dami talaga nating napag-uusapan each time we are here. So let me just give you our certificate of appreciation. Thank you so much for sharing with us your expertise, where I'll just read the citation of the certificate. So this certificate of appreciation is issued to Anselmo Pagulayan for generously providing their time and expertise as a resource speakers for the webinar Flowing with Grace, Expanding Horizons with the Flow State, held on the 22nd of November, 2023. Signed by our Chief Enabling Officer, John Baluyot, and our Chief Wellbeing Officer, Nikki Vergara. So yeah, now you know how to, you know the conditions on how to enter the flow state. And you have heard some tips that we gave you this afternoon para ma-apply nyo rin yun dun sa mga teams nyo. And again, we're so happy to have you this November, and we hope that you will still join us next month. So we still have 3 more webinars left for 2023, and we hope to see you there. So if you enjoyed this session and would love to run a positive workplaces session in your workplaces, you can reach out to Alma, our Wellbeing Services Officer. So you can reach him at thrive@positiveworkplaces.org. And please do not forget to follow us on Facebook, because we are going to post the next webinar offerings in our page. Okay, so I think we are now going to give you, ito na ang most awaited. Syempre, apart from the talk, the most awaited part is the evaluation form. So we are sending you the evaluation forms here in the chat box. You can even just scan the QR code that you see on the screen. Yeah, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and we hope to see you all in December. So konting sneak preview lang for next year. Next year. Nasa next year na ako. Ang sneak preview natin for December, yung overall theme natin is Get Ready With Me. Okay, get ready with me. Rest, reset, and reflect for success in 2024. So we hope to see you all there. Yeah, and thank you so much, everyone, and see you next month.